Last words are precious. Whether it was the last text message they ever sent or just the last one a loved one received from them, here are some of the tragic text messages famous people sent before dying. Bob Saget was a successful stand-up comedian, but for a whole generation of TV viewers, he would forever be known as Danny Tanner on Full House.
See, Michelle? Joey's a boy and he can do ballet. And you and Aunt Becky are girls and you can build cars.
When they learned about Saget's death on January 9, 2022, thousands took to social media to remember him. Saget's final Instagram post showed how much he had to look forward to before his sudden death from head trauma at 65. After a performance, he wrote, "Okay, I love tonight's show. Really nice audience. Lots of positivity. I had no idea I did a 2-hour set tonight. I'm back in comedy like I was when I was 26. I guess I'm finding my new voice and loving every moment of it." The same day his body was found, Saget's daughter Aubrey also took to social media with a screenshot of the final text she got from her dad the day before. "Thank you. Love you. Showtime." His wife Kelly Rizzo had received a similarly caring final message. "I love you endlessly." Kim Jong-Hyun was known simply by Jong-Hyun as a K-pop idol and member of the band SHINee. But despite the adoration of fans around the world, Kim was not in a good place. The life of a K-pop star is incredibly demanding, and after he died by suicide in December 2017, various messages Kim had sent friends and family outlining his severe depression brought this into stark focus. According to the New York Times, he wrote to a friend that fame was essentially torture for him, saying, "Becoming famous was probably not my life. They tell me that's why I'm having a hard time. Why did I choose that? It's funny that I'm able to endure this much." And on the day Kim died by suicide, aged 27, he sent final, heartbreaking text messages to his sister saying, "Please let me go. Tell me I did well." And final farewell. After his death, there was a huge outpouring of grief from fans who wrote on social media about how much Kim meant to them and held vigils in his memory. The chef and writer Anthony Bourdain had a huge and devoted fan base when he died by suicide in 2018 at the age of 61. But the love of strangers didn't fill Bourdain with the happiness regular people might assume that kind of fame would, and none of them could have known how he was struggling.
I'm not going to say I had a mental or nervous breakdown, but I came close.
According to the unauthorized biography Down and Out in Paradise, The Life of Anthony Bourdain, his pain was evident in the texts he was sending before his death. A few days before he died, he sent a text to his ex-wife saying, "I hate my fans too. I hate being famous. I hate my job. I'm lonely and living in constant uncertainty." He also noted one of the major downsides of his notoriety writing. The paparazzi situation is horrendous. Bourdain was also fighting with his partner, Asia Argento, texting her, "I am not spiteful. I am not jealous that you have been with another man. I do not own you. You are free. As I said, as I promised, as I truly meant, but you were careless. You were reckless with my heart, my life." The night he died, after drinking alone, he texted her again asking, "Is there anything I can do?" When she replied angrily, he simply responded, "Okay." When the talented and much beloved Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins died suddenly in March 2022, no one could believe it. The rock star was just 50 years old, and he was in the middle of a tour with the band. However, according to interviews Rolling Stone conducted with some who knew Hawkins well in the months after he died, the intense tour schedule might have been too much for him. Pearl Jam's drummer Matt Cameron said Hawkins had told him the pace and physical demands were becoming unbearable, and he might even have to step back from the band because of it. Cameron would, however, partially walk his comments back once the article was released.
"This is the best role I've ever played. Taylor's friend."
Yep. That's not an easy one.
Hawkins' cause of death still isn't clear. What is known is that 50 was too young to lose someone in such seemingly good health. It was a reminder to many that life is short, and the final message the drummer sent to a celebrity friend was a tragic reminder of that. After Hawkins' death, Full House actor John Stamos took to Twitter to share their last communication. He posted, "This was Taylor Hawkins' last text to me. Yeah, we've yet to have a full hang. Gotta put that together before we die." Stamos added, "Wise words for my friend. Put that together. I'm so f***ing sad. Another one gone too soon." Chadwick Boseman will forever be best known as Black Panther in the Marvel films. His performance touched and inspired so many people. So when his death from cancer at the age of 43 was announced in August 2020, the world was in shock. Almost no one knew he had been unwell, including those closest to him. Boseman's former co-star in the film Marshall, Josh Gad, posted screenshots of one of the last texts he got from his friend on Twitter. It said in part, "If you are in Los Angeles, you woke up this morning to the rare and peaceful sound of steady precipitation. But now that the rain has stopped and today's storm has cleared, I urge you to go outside and take a deep breath. Notice how fresh the air is right now. Today's rain has given the City of Angels a long, overdue, and much-needed shower." Gad said the message reminded him to appreciate every moment. Black Panther executive producer Nate Moore, who also had no idea about Boseman's illness, told People their last text exchange concerned the actor going above and beyond to fulfill the requests of a Make-A-Wish child during COVID-19 lockdown. Boseman wrote, "It broke me, man. We need to do that for them. People deserve abundant life, special moments. They've been through hell battling disease. If we were able to ease their suffering and bring joy for a moment, then we made a difference in his life." Most people probably didn't know the name Nick Cordero before he came down with COVID-19, as the Tony nominee was most famous for his work on Broadway. But when he was one of the first celebrities to get very, very sick in April 2020, thousands started following the social media updates of his wife, Amanda Kloots, after 3 months in the hospital, much of it spent in an induced coma, and after doctors tried to save his life by amputating one of Cordero's legs. Kloots shared the tragic news that he had died. Zach Braff, who starred in a musical with Cordero in 2014, posted a heartfelt message on Instagram and included his final message from his good friend. "The last thing he ever texted me was to look out for his wife and 1-year-old son Elvis. I promise the world they will never want for anything." Before former Miss USA winner Cheslie Kryst died by suicide in January 2022, she texted her mother Alice Simpkins what was essentially her suicide note. Her mother later felt forced to share the heartbreaking messages for an even more tragic reason: to stop online conspiracy theorists from insisting Kryst was murdered. When Simpkins appeared on Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table Talk, she said, "One thing I'd like to see laid to rest is the theory that Cheslie was murdered. I know that my daughter died by suicide. And it's painful to hear people constantly contradict what we absolutely know."
She had the support that she needed, but she grew weary.
Kryst was just 30 years old when she texted her mother her goodbyes. Simpkins said her daughter sent the message at a time she knew she wouldn't have her phone. Kryst wrote, "First, I'm sorry. By the time you get this, I won't be alive anymore. And it makes me even more sad to write this because I know it will hurt you the most. You have kept me alive and ready to face another day because you answer every phone call, and you are there for me at a drop of a hat. You are the perfect mom, and I will love you forever, even in death." Born Ermias Joseph Askedam, the rapper who went by Nipsey Hussle came to many people's attention when Jay-Z bought 100 physical copies of his Crenshaw mixtape for $100 each. However, by the time he died in 2019, the then 33-year-old was still only on the cusp of the major fame that almost certainly awaited him. He'd already started giving back to his community, though, and was active in anti-gang organizations in his native Los Angeles. It was an issue Hussle understood personally, having been an active member of the Crips branch, the Rollin' 60s, when he was younger. But on March 31st, 2019, his life was cut short after an argument with another man in LA. The man later tracked Hussle down and shot him dead. At the funeral, attended by stars like Snoop Dogg and Stevie Wonder, Hussle's mother, Angelique Smith, gave a moving eulogy about her son's life and used his final text to her on the day he died to show how much potential he had. She recalled texting Hussle, "My heart feels as if there's possibly heaviness in your heart and soul." Her son replied, "No, Mom, I'm A1. I'm grateful I have a studio again. I'm just happy and ready to work." David Bowie was a musical icon who broke boundaries in sound, style, and so much more during his life. While he did his most unforgettable work in the 1970s, he made great music from the 1960s to just 2 days before he died on January 10, 2016, with the release of his final album, Black Star. The album proved that Bowie still had it, and if the 69-year-old hadn't died from cancer, he had a couple more decades of great music in him. According to Bowie's ex-girlfriend Claudia Lanier, he thought he had time left to make more music even with his terminal cancer diagnosis. She claimed she'd been working with Bowie for 2 years on an album. Lanier and Bowie had worked on music together before, in the 1970s, before they broke up and she left the music industry. but the album they'd been collaborating on was supposed to be her comeback. She told the Daily Mail, "We had this very strange writing relationship. He was writing music and I was writing lyrics. It seemed this continued right up until the end, as Bowie texted her a few days before he died, 'Send me some lyrics, don't forget.'" Kobe Bryant's sudden death in a helicopter crash in January 2020 was a shock, even to those outside the sports world. Not only was the iconic player just 41, but he died alongside 8 other people, including his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. Bryant was close with many other giants of basketball, including Michael Jordan, who said he would never be able to delete his final text conversation with his friend, which took place on December 8, 2019. About 6 weeks before Bryant died. Referring to a gift from Jordan, Kobe texted, "This tequila is awesome." Jordan responded with, "Thank you, my brother." They inquired about each other's families and promised to catch up soon. Then Jordan asked about Bryant's new job coaching his daughter's basketball team, texting, "Coach Kobe?" Bryant replied proudly, "I'm sitting on the bench right now, and we're blowing this team out 45-8.
I enjoy watching them play. It's fun because you get to see the growth.
Bryant was also close with Shaquille O'Neal and his son Sharif.
When I have imagined speaking to a group of people about Kobe Bryant, I usually picture in the context of his Hall of Fame induction.
According to BET, on the day Bryant died, at 8:19 a.m., he texted Sharif, "You good, fam?" It wasn't until 10:58 a.m. that Sharif, who also played basketball, replied, "Yeah, just getting this work in, trying to figure out my next move." Tragically, Bryant never read the response, because by then, he was already dead. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline by dialing 988 or by calling 1-800-273-TALK 8255.